Greetings and salutations to all you folks out there. I have a quick little update for you before we jump into this game. For the guys who don't watch my check-in videos, Project Insanity is currently underway. The link is in the description below this video. Basically what that is we're trying to raise awareness of the Forged Alliance client and Supreme Commander Forged Alliance as a game. It is an older one that kind of dropped off the radar a little bit, but there are a lot of people who still play it on Steam and a couple that play it not more than a couple. A lot of people play it solo on their PCs as like a turtle game versus AI and such. And a lot of people don't know that Forged Alliance Forever exists, or that there have been balance updates, bug fixes, that we have this amazing new client and all that kind of stuff. So I am running a promotional campaign, and the big centerpiece of that is a tournament with money prizes. I'm hoping to get it as big as I possibly can, and I'm going to be doing an ad campaign starting in a couple of weeks, pulling AdSense, YouTube ads, Facebook pushes, all that kind of stuff, and then also paid advertisements with other YouTubers and the likes, just to get the word out as far as we possibly can. And then the information on the community push as well is in that link that I provide down there. Now, the donation pool, or the prize pool, is going to be donation based. I'm not going to charge a fee to play in the tournament, so I'm hoping to draw in a bunch of players that way. Donations are rolling in very quickly. It's actually a lot bigger than what I thought it would be. You guys are fantastic in your generosity and just giving to help push this forward. So far, in a matter of, it's been 6 days, I think, since this launched, $350 so far in the account, and that is just phenomenal. The game plan is 3 weeks in the donation phase, so that I'll have a good solid idea of what the actual prize pool is going to be. Then I'm going to take a week, for a total of 4 weeks, to get the promotional materials finalized and get everything ready, and then there will be a 2-week advertising phase, and I'm hoping to, in 6 weeks, launch this big tournament. So that is just a heads up on what's going on in the background. If you guys want to help out with that, like I said, check out the link. And other than that, that is pretty much what I had to say. All right, let's jump into the game, which I know you guys are ready and raring to go on. The map is Syrtis Major. Now, we've seen a little bit of this map recently. It was featured in a tournament game and then in a couple of games that I casted, but this is a big map with a lot of options, and it is a fun one to watch games on just because of the variety of strategies that we will see unfold. We have a couple of pretty good players here. JMD is a 1466. These are ladder rankings, I believe, so you can assume the global ranks are going to be as high or higher. And Silent is a 1577, so a pretty evenly matched game in the probably top 10% of ladder, I would say. Alright, this is going to be Aeon on the left versus Seraphim on the right. And we'll just have to dive straight in and see how this turns out. I'm going to actually take a minute to analyze the build orders, because we're seeing a little bit of variety here, and this one has an interesting start. We have a land first for JMD. He is going to fast build the Hydro and go second air with the addition of 1 power generator over here. I am assuming that he is going to go first bomber for the raiding potential. And then you can see he has an engineer looping about here, picking up the large boulder on manual reclaim, and generally having at the furthest reaches of the mass extractors. Then we have another engineer pulling 3 mass extractors and then the land factory. Now, on the other side, we have a delayed air factory. Silent is relying on the Hydro and a couple of Tech 1 power, and he is edge building 2 additional land factories to get a leg up on production. Now, if you build your factories up here, you do not have to cycle units all the way around the outside edge. That gives you a big advantage on the speed with which you can push units out to the fronts. And then over here we have a nice little raid. He built a flare coming over here to snag this expansion engineer. Of course, I think he will succeed in killing that, and that will delay JMD's expansion to the left by several seconds, because he's going to lose that factory right there. So that was a very good start for Silent. We've got this bomber coming out, but Silent does have an air factory, so he will be pushing an interceptor. I'm assuming that he will be able to snag that bomber very quickly. We do have a tank on the southern side as well, paired with a scout, always something that you want to do with an Aurora. Well, it is not exactly paired, but the scout is there, because the Aurora, of course, will lose in a line of sight confrontation with another tank, which we're about to see right here. That pitifully low health is crippling. JMD is pushing a second bomber. The interceptors were able to kill the first, and now it looks like Silent is actually in control of the area. Has 3 interceptors. Only 2 over there, pardon me. It is rather late here. He does have a bomber out, but I think... Oh, killing the engineer again before the factory is finished. That is harsh, Silent. That is harsh. You are a cruel manipulator of the board. And this little guy right here, Tham, that is going to be a thorn in the side of Silent. That would actually be a good unit to push forward. It could feasibly kill that engineer before the factory comes online, and that would delay Silent's expansion as much as Silent is I can't talk straight, delayed JMD's expansion. Alright, seeing a little bit of exchange in the center here. They were fighting over that mass. Let's take a look at who got more of it. Silent pulling 4,600 and JMD only 25, so that is decidedly one-sided. And that is a repetitively redundant statement. Well, not really. If it was repetitively redundant, it would have been restating the same thing twice. But in fact, that was just a neat little bit of phonetic play. That is probably the gun upgrade. Whether he has range or speed is yet to be determined. Taking a lot of fire. Holy cow. 2,200 health. He had to back off of that one because he is below the threshold of surviving a nuclear hug. But, no, that was Tech 2. That's what that was. A Tech 2 upgrade. He is going to lay down a couple of point defense to hold that center gap. And I guess I will excuse the Tech 2 point defense in this scenario. He does actually have a nice little closed area to work in, although those point defense are a little too far back. They can be skirted. And we're going to see the northern side fall over here. There are no reinforcements that I can see. You have a drop coming in. Actually, for both players, it's a symmetrical drop. How many times do you see this? Transports flying directly past each other. Gonna drop a unit over here. That is an OP Obsidian. Gonna see a run by here, and then we have tanks dropped in the base of Silent. So both players had the same thought at exactly the same time. Slightly different implementation of the final product, but hey, it works. This Obsidian is going to handily, well, if he hadn't pre-targeted that other unit, he might have actually had a chance of taking out these tanks, but he is going to take out a Tech 2 mass extractor. That was worth it. And then that run by is going to loop around right here and clear out all of the eco, and at the same time, JMD is pillaging Silent's base. I love it when stuff like this happens. You've got stuff going on all over the map. Got a Tech 2 gunship coming out for Silent that is going to succeed in killing those units. And then in the midst of its victory celebration, it is going to perish at the hand of a handful of interceptors. Alright. Got some little bit of buildup on the southern side now. Got a group of Ilshivas. Those are going to do a very fine job of handling the Auroras. Spectre apparently was forgotten about. It is going to die to interceptors while it is laying down on the job. And Ilshiva is basically a walking Tech 1 point defense that is going to handle the area denial pretty dang well right there. I'm actually curious as to whether the Ilshiva has more range than the Aurora does. I do not recall the exact number, but I think it has either the same or slightly more. Taking my eyes off the board here momentarily. It has 26 range. Actually, I think the Aurora may outrange it. Someone needs to get on my case about knowing my unit statistics before I start talking. Oh, that looks like a tac launcher. That is a tac launcher. The Serpentine, the aptly named Tech 2 tactical missile launcher for the Aeon. That flight pattern is absolutely lovely for evading a minute bit of attack defense. It does miss occasionally. And we have Tech 3 land on the field for JMD. He is going to be pushing the Awful Awesomes towards the southern side. Perhaps he will be okay. There is slightly rough terrain, so he's going to have to watch the firing pattern on those tanks. They do lay very close to the ground, and they have trouble firing over terrain obstacles. So you do have to kind of babysit those units, but they do have a decent amount of firepower to back them. Overall, though, I really don't like the unit because they also have a severe health deficiency. I think there were a couple of chromosomes crossed in the factories and did not come out all in one piece. They do lose mass to mass to pretty much all of the other Tech 3 units in one way or another. We do have some nice Tech 3 mobile artillery spam right here. He's going to lay down a herding on Silent's base. He's going to start a shield building war, which I would say is rather unwise when you're going up against four Tech 3 mobile artillery. I thought that may have been a fifth one coming up in the back, but it is not. JMD is going to be hanging around in the back end here. He's actually missing some health. He must have been in a fight with some units. Probably some denial up here. I see a lot of dead ones, so I'm thinking the ACU is involved in combat. And right down here, we have an attempted run-by being shut down by a couple of Obsidians. You can see here that fire base did lose the war, but we're seeing a beautiful run-by on the part of Silent. These Tech 3 tanks need to be put to use, and as I say that, they are. JMD was able to deny this push, but now he is being hit from the back with Obsidians. This is going to be a nasty pincer maneuver and overcharging nicely. Those are blazes, so unfortunately they do not pack the damage necessary to down a comm. That was a mercy hit. Bringing in the anti-air, he's got to cover that ACU. Get the interceptors out front. There's a Swiftwind there. Swiftwind spam is actually quite vicious. Getting a Tech 1 anti-air in there for denial. That will do a handy job of frustrating the firing pattern of those mercies. These Authams are actually doing a pretty phenomenal job of clearing out the southern expansion for Silent. That is going to put Silent behind on Eco, and overall is putting a fairly serious dent in his map control. This tank is going to wander into the reach of this ACU. Does he have overcharge is the question. Yes, he does. Gonna deal with that, and we have Harbies on the field. I actually love these units. I am quite fond of the Harbinger spam just because they are quite speedy. It is like a Tech 3 Mantis. I love them. Also, the reclaim ability comes in quite handy. After you finish wiping out a horde of units, you can turn right around and put that mass directly into your economy to pump out even more Harbingers. It is quite a fun little practice, and as long as you can keep your ACU protected and outmaneuver the opponent, because the Harbingers are fairly weak individually, you can do a pretty good job of harassing your opponent to death. Got a couple of Harbingers pushing up down here as well, but the Tech 3 tanks are on the way to put a stop to that mess. Got a fair little bit of reclaim going on up here. Unfortunately, it is only trees. All of the units are gone just about. Alright, looks like air control is firmly in the hands of Silent, as it has been for most of the game, and we have a drop. Harvey drop into the base, and a chicken is online for JMD. That was built back here somewhere, probably in that area, and I missed it. Fortunately, though, it has caught my eye and it has not done any damage so far, so we will be able to catch all of the action as it comes into the base. Those Harpies are going to do a fantastic job of pretty much wiping out that entire base. If we can kill that Tech 3 headquarters, that would be a massive bonus because it will deny JMD's ability to build those higher tier units. He does not have any other headquarters of any type. Now, Silent is going to have his hands full dealing with this. Fortunately, he does have air control, so that will allow him to push gunships if he so wishes, and it looks like he is going for the strap bomber route instead, which on this economy I kind of find ridiculous because he's not going to be able to get enough of them out to make a difference in time. Mass for mass, the Tech 2 gunships would be a better option for dealing damage, and those Mercies, while they are okay, they are lackluster against the Yathatha because the Yathatha will shoot them down. It does have that flat cannon on it. While it doesn't do a whole lot of damage, it will nail a Mercy or 3. That Tech 3 HQ did go down, so JMD has currently lost his land production. And that is bad for him because Silent is on the way with a handful of Harbingers. You thought that basically did wipe out the base, so we're kind of seeing both enemies crippled and having to deal with the threat using only the units that they already have. And I have to say that JMD is at a disadvantage here because Silent has seen his ACU. No, he hasn't. I saw the units heading northward, and I assumed that the ACU had been spotted, but it has not. That ACU was going to hide up there in the corner with a couple of anti-air to guard against Mercies. He's going to bring all of his units up towards the ACU as a final stand option. Those Harbingers are going to have a great enough number advantage to deal with the Othams. Tech 2 transports kind of winging their way around. Not sure why the ACU is lollygagging about, and the Yathatha is on its way. He has got to kill that commander, and he has spotted the base. It's a race against time. That chicken is running after the ACU. The chicken is faster than the ACU. Basically going to see a range hit, and oh, that was a beautiful setup for an all-in-one overcharge. Got a vet, and he is down. And the Yathatha will begin firing at Silent, but the replay is over. That is game. JMD missed his opportunity by a wide margin there. All of those Harbingers bunched up, and he was at a veterancy. If he had only landed that overcharge right when those units bunched, he would have won. That was probably one of the closest games that I have casted probably ever, with the exception of that TA cast that I did last week. That was a brilliant game for both players. Well done, sirs. That was a fun one to watch. All right, that is going to wrap it up for this replay. Thanks so much, guys, for watching and for all the support that you've given me, this channel, and the Forged Alliance community. As I was mentioning at the beginning of the cast, do check out that link. I am not even pushing for a money donation at this point. Just check out the materials on the forum post. Give your thoughts on that, and when it comes time to distribute those, hey, if you're a good copy paster, we can use you. Alrighty, guys, that is going to wrap it up. I will see you later.